Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. Carolyn Russin, professional life coach here. For those of you we haven't met, thanks for hopping on board. And for those of you that we have met and you've been to my lives before, thanks for coming back. Anyway, I hope you're having a fabulous day today. For those of you who are moms, hope you had a great Mother's Day yesterday. Hi, Andrea. I'll tell you, one of the best Mother's Day's gifts I ever got, hi Jennifer, was yesterday. This was awesome. And I know some of you may laugh at me at this, but I hate gardening. Hate it. Love a beautiful garden. But to do all that work and then, hi Leanne, and then a week later, like weeds coming up again. Hi Stephanie. I just find it so frustrating. And so that initial, especially in the springtime, of cleaning up the gardens and edging them and putting down mulch and all that. We've got a lot of perennials, so I don't have to really worry about planting a lot. Anyway, so my one son is 21. He said to me a week ago, Mom, what do you want for Mother's Day? And I said, buddy, the best gift you could give me for Mother's Day won't even cost you a cent. And he's kind of intrigued. He's like, well, what is it? I said, if you could prep my gardens, so, do all the edge work, pull all the weeds because they're thriving right now, and then put down all the mulch. They ended up having to buy, my husband helped him in the end with the mulch, like 30 bags of mulch. It was crazy. It is phenomenal. I look out to my gardens now and they are pristine. They look fantastic and I didn't have to do it. Best Mother's Day gift ever. Anyway, hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. But today, want to hop on and talk to you about burnout. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever experienced burnout before. I know I certainly have, that's for sure. And burnout is not something that suddenly happens out of the blue. It's something that sneaks up on us. And it's really important that we are paying attention to those warning signals, those you're tired all the time, feeling overwhelmed, things set you off without much. Like you think, why am I overreacting? These kinds of things, those are all signs of burnout. So it's trying to notice those early on before you are full-blown burnout mode. And there's different strategies that can be used. I've jotted a few down here of things that you can do so that you don't get to that point of burnout. Hi, Sandy. So for those of you that know me well, I am a really tangible, strategic type of person. I like to give you strategies that you can implement and use right away. If you're looking for someone just for talk therapy and just to sit and chat, I'm not your person. I'm very much a solution-based coach where I want to take you from here to here. And this is how we're going to do it. Hi, Charmy. So even on these calls, which I just do for my community, I want to provide very tangible things that you can implement right away. So if you are feeling that you are on the road to burnout, or maybe you're already there, if you're feeling tired and overwhelmed and cranky and irritable, these are things that you need to be paying attention to. So first of all, I've got 5 here for you. First of all, setting clear boundaries. I know we talk about this all the time, but do you do it? And for some people, it's an icky feeling. It's hard to protect your time, but that's what you have to do. It is actually putting into your calendar time for you. What is it that fires you up? Everyone's different. What is it that relaxes you? What gives you enjoyment? Those have to be scheduled in your calendar because we all know if we think, oh yeah, I want to do this, this week because it's something I really enjoy, but we all get busy and we don't prioritize ourselves. And so before we know it, it's the end of the week and we're like, oh yeah, I didn't get to that. I didn't have time. No, you didn't make time. You didn't prioritize that time. And many of you who know me know how I love to play tennis. And it gets prioritized because I sign up for it. And that's a great way of committing. So I know on these certain days, those times are blocked out, I don't see any clients, I'm not helping family, I'm not doing any chores, I'm not doing anything else, that's my tennis time. That's my me time. That's my mental clarity time. That's my exercise time. So booking these things into your calendar is how you make sure it happens. So think about it like this week. What's even one thing you could do for you that you could book into your calendar? Better yet, what's something you could do for yourself every day, even if it's 20 minutes every day? Maybe you want to sit down with a cup of tea and read a book. This can be simple, really simple. So thinking about these boundaries, how can you create boundaries? Now, it's also about protecting your boundaries from other people reaching out to you all the time and stealing that time away from you. And as women, as moms, we're taught if you're going to be a good mom, if you're going to be a good wife, a good spouse, good friend, good daughter, you give, you give, you give, you give. That's how most of us were raised, which is how you end up getting to burnout. So how do you protect that? I'm going to get to another way a little further down on one of the examples, but one of the ways that I use to protect my boundaries, I'll share this with you, is I don't always respond to people. So for example, if I have people that are reaching out to me, so if I have family or friends or whatever that I'm constantly hearing from all the time, sometimes I don't answer the phone because I'm having to protect my time. Am I neglecting them? No, I will respond to them, I'll get back to them and all that. But in that moment, if it's somebody that's calling you that just sucks the energy out of you, that just depletes you, and in that time, you're not feeling too energized or strong, you have to protect yourself. So don't answer the phone. Don't reply to that text, or just text them back and say, sorry, can't right now, I'll call you later. And make sure that when you call them back, you're in a better place. You have more energy. You can, deal with them in a better place, better mindset. So protecting yourself is creating those boundaries, but people think that when they create boundaries, they have to explain to people, sorry, no, I can't do this. This is a boundary that I'm creating. No. Be more creative. You don't have to be as forthcoming and still have boundaries. When I don't pick up my phone, if it rings all the time, that's me protecting my boundaries. The other person doesn't have to know it. For all they know, I'm working with a client. I'm doing a Facebook Live, whatever it is that I'm doing. So protecting your boundaries is the first one, or setting clear boundaries. The second one is prioritizing self-care. That kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. But when you are prioritizing your self-care, that's how you can reduce your stress levels and look after yourself, both mentally and physically. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday. It was a Happy Mother's Day post. But what I did say at the bottom was, today should not be the only day you prioritize yourself, which often it is. Mother's Day and your birthday, those 2 days when you prioritize yourself. That's 2 days out of the year is not enough. So think about, okay, how else can you prioritize yourself? Hi, Kimberly. And so, what can you do to recharge your batteries? What kinds of things can you do? And again, it's different for each person. So is that doing some yoga, reading, having a hobby, going for a walk, just something for you that just energizes you, that makes you feel better about you. So I would challenge you, just even brainstorm a list, still a little sticky, and put 5 things. These are the things I'd love to do. And then, okay, well, what's one of them I can schedule into my calendar for once a week? Maybe it's something that takes an hour or 2. Maybe what's one of these things I can schedule into my day every day that maybe only takes 15, 20 minutes, that I know I can make it happen. So see how these are all kind of interconnected and tied together. So prioritizing your own self-care. If you're a mom and one of your kids is sick or one of your kids is struggling, you will drop everything and you will look after them. It's got to work both ways. You got to look after yourself too. You have to prioritize that. So again, this helps prevent burnout in the end, prioritizing your self-care. The next one is learning to say no. And I know as I say that, many of you are probably, ooh, because it's an icky feeling. Because again, we've been taught as women, you do everything for everyone else. You help other people. That's how you are successful in life. Not always, okay? Obviously, there are times that, yes, you're going to drop everything to help people depending on the situation. But, and this is something I've been doing with some of my clients, and when I say this to them, they feel really, really icky. Thanks, Kimberly, for that comment. Great advice. Appreciate the important reminders, and they are. So if somebody says, hey, mom, or to your spouse, or your parent to you as a daughter, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And if it's not a good time for you, there's nothing wrong with saying, I can't do that right now, but I could help you with that later this evening, or later in the week, or tomorrow. So instead of just saying no, because for many women, they just feel like that's kind of bitchy, just saying, no, I'm having boundaries, no. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't resonate with you, and I get that. So instead, it just be, I can't do that right now, but I could help you, whenever. That's just more natural. That's more caring. That's more supportive. But what I also say to my clients is, do not say to them, is that okay? Because all of a sudden, you've given up prioritizing yourself. If you're going to say, I can't do it now, I could help you with it tonight, is that okay with you? You could say, does that time work? Or we need to look at another one. But you're not looking for permission for protecting your boundaries. No, protecting your boundaries is your right. And you need to protect your boundaries. But then giving them an option is just a more caring, loving, it just resonates a little bit better with a lot of women. So learning to say no, you have to start with little baby steps. Okay, just little things. And you'll learn after a while, it feels more comfortable. You know what? I'll give you another example. I used to belong to a committee in my church, and I had done it for years, long time ago, and then I started again. And it was just, even though it wasn't a lot of time, just with everything else, with family, my business, it was taking up too much space up here. And the person that was running the group ended up stepping down because they were retiring, etc. And I knew they were going to come and ask me to run it. And I'm thinking, I can't, like, there's no way I can't. But there's that guilt part in you, right? There's that guilt of, well, could I, or whatever. So when the call came, I had on a little sticky note right in front of it, a big no as a reminder, because I knew it was going to be tough. And so sometimes it just takes practice before you're a little bit more comfortable. I did say no. I was very proud of myself. So anyway, you can do it. Start with the little things, but start with that, can't help you right now, but sure, how about tomorrow? Or how about next week? Giving them that option. Hi, Rose, welcome. The next one is delegating. Delegating when possible. And it depends on your situation. I love delegating with people in the house. So if it's stuff around the house, because then they feel more part of it and they feel more responsible for what's going on. I used to always say, when my kids were little, and I mean little, they were probably 7, 8, I had them starting to do laundry. I went out and bought 3 laundry baskets that were white so I could write on it with a black Sharpie and you could see. And I put whites, colors, darks. And so they would bring their laundry baskets down and I taught them how to separate. Now I would do the washing and all that, but just them separating. Now, they all still live at home, but they're 21, and 18. And I haven't touched laundry in years of theirs. I do my own, that's it. And so giving other people responsibilities, letting them step up. And yes, it means giving up control. And sometimes that's an area that women struggle with, is that oh, if I'm going to have them do whatever it is, what if they don't do it the way I do it? You know, they clean up, they do dishes after dinner. Well, the kitchen's still a bit of a mess. You know, how do I handle that? And I suggest to them, you know, you can give them a little pointers along the way, but you've got to let go. Yeah, things aren't always going to be done the way you want them to be done, but you're not having to do it, and you now have extra time. So sometimes it's letting go of that control, knowing it's not going to be done the way you want or expect it to be, and that has to be okay. Hi, Angela. But yeah, look at any way that you can delegate things. And then again, remembering this is all to avoid burnout. So you're reducing that stress and reducing that overwhelm. And the last one is regularly assessing your workload. So a lot of this pertains to those of you who are working in your profession. Is it a reasonable workload that you have? Like, I'm seeing this time and time again with women who'd come to me and they're like, you know, I used to do this job and then they got rid of these 2 people and now I'm doing their job. So now I'm doing a job that 3 people used to do. And so it's really kind of looking critically at that. And is that a conversation you need to sit down and have with your boss? Is this, instead of just taking on more and taking on more because we don't like to bitch and complain about things, we just like to do things and get it done, is this reasonable? You know, maybe there's other ways of looking at it. Maybe if they don't have the budget to hire more people, maybe there's a different way of doing this, of looking outside the box, but you won't know if you don't have that conversation. And just like at home, you know, are you doing way too much? Are you doing everything at home? You need to look, is this reasonable? And if it's not, okay, so how can we handle this differently? You know, maybe you're working outside the home and you can't get to cleaning the house. Maybe you hire somebody to come in and do that for you. There's different ways of looking at it. So again, and I know some of you joined me partway through, and I always post these in the group. So please feel free to go back and watch from the beginning. If you're watching on the replay, just type replay in the comments. That would be great. So again, this is about avoiding burnout. You know, so if you feel that you are just tired all the time and overwhelmed and cranky and irritable, you are on the road to burnout if you aren't there already. And the trick is to notice those signs earlier, to avoid that. So I just went through the top 5 things are, you know, set clear boundaries, prioritize your self-care. Hi, Tanya. Learning how to say no and how to do that. And I gave some examples earlier. Delegating when possible and really assessing your workload. So those are some really tangible things that I've given you. And that's what I said in the beginning. I like to give very specific, tangible things that you can implement in your life right away. So think about, okay, so these things, how am I feeling? How close am I to burnout? And then, okay, so of these strategies that Carolyn has mentioned, which ones are appropriate for me? Which ones could I implement this week? You know, and jot them down, because it's one thing to listen to this and then you get busy and then you get distracted. And before you know it, you're still going down that road of burnout. Jot some of these down. So then there'll be reminders for you. And if this is something that you're struggling with and that you're looking for more support with, don't hesitate. Drop a me in the comments down below. I can set up a free 15-minute call and we can talk about, okay, where are you struggling? You know, what kind of support do you need? What that might look like. And one thing I want to be really clear with people is that there is no pressure. And like my previous clients, and I think one of them had mentioned this, maybe in the last live, I'm not sure, but there was no pressure at all. When I hop on calls with people and we talk about it, if they talk about, yes, they need some support and this is what would look like, and obviously there's an investment involved. And if it works out and it feels great, wonderful. But there is zero pressure. But meanwhile, we can hop on a call. I can give you a few little freebie strategies right then and there. So if you would like to pursue this more, type me below. I would love to hear from you. If one of these strategies you think, that's a good one, I'm going to try that out. Plop that below in the comments. Would love to hear that. Again, if you're watching this on replay, type replay below. And I hope this has been helpful and have a fabulous day.